one other thing, you were
started.
if you can send us on that text that had the four of us on it with you.
Yeah, 4 of us with me.
To send the link to the stream.
Sure.
Then they can. Jerome was going to put it. Alberto was telling he was going to put it in all kinds of places.
No.
And the Peace Center Facebook page has been hijacked, by the way.
Wow.
So actually, maybe Deidre should talk with you about.
Now, how does that happen? How do you?
I don't know. You know, you just get hacked.
How do you know that the page's been hacked?
Oh, you can know it's been hacked because we have no access to it, and somebody's posting pictures
Stuff on it,
of cars that are for sale. So you know it's hacked. I mean, all of a sudden it wasn't.
It takes nothing. I'm telling you, it takes nothing.
Yeah.
I know. Our Nanto account was hacked.
Wow.
How do you solve the problem?
We haven't solved it yet.
So you don't know how lucky you are. Being hacked is good. Now they hack you and kidnap your stuff and then make you pay them to release your information. So you're only getting hacked now. You ain't in the big leagues yet. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Be thankful.
Okay, so you want me to send out the link?
Yeah, if you could in that text.
Sure.
Let me see if I can. You can probably find it faster than I can, but
I'm looking for it right now.
Did you find it?
Not yet.
Yep, good. I've got it there too.
Sure.
Okay.
So I should still send it, right?
Yeah, just send it to all of us when you've got the link.
I'm getting it right now.
So I think good.
Copy link. I don't have that link, that text message with 4 people.
Oh, you don't? Okay, so that's
Can I
why
send
I was
it?
offering.
Can I send it to you?
Wait, no, here's just 1 second. Just give me 1 second, and I will activate it so it'll come right up to the top of your thing here. Okay.
So I just refresh.
Right?
Checking.
Check your email.
You'll
please.
see
I mean
it.
your text.
Yeah, you'll see it.
Check your
There
text.
you go. Okay.
Yep.
There we go. Here is the link
Wonderful.
for
Okay, I'll just
today's
be.
show.
So you just text me here?
I'm about to.
I just texted the word
There it is.
here.
Oh, so for him. Okay.
It's really to Richard.
Oh, I
It's to
understand.
Richard.
Everybody
I
should have
just
the link on their
texted so that would come up to the surface so he could see it quickly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So
Yeah.
now we can officially start the show?
Now we can start the show.
Okay.
Cool.
All right.
All right. When the timer on the screen says on the air, you're on the air, okay?
Right. Great. Thanks. Welcome to Talking Peace with the Western New York Peace Center, being recorded here at Think Twice Radio in the home of the future, also the home of our friend and producer, Richard Wicca. Thanks, Richard. And thank you, too, to our friends at Buff State, Buffalo's original alternative radio station, 91.3 FM. Thank you, Buff State, WBNY. And when I think of gratitude, I think of our indigenous friends, on whose land we are right now. We're on Seneca, Haudenosaunee, or Onondaga land right now as we're all sitting here. And many of you in the listening area will be also on that Onondaga land. And they, as well as people who were enslaved and brought here and just treated so violently and horrifically, yet thankfulness is so often what people lead with, and certainly the Haudenosaunee start all their events and mostly every day with this giving thanks to Mother Earth, to all of to the water, Mini-Wachoni, water is life, to the plants and animals, to all the creation, to the stars and so many things, and especially to the Creator and the love that animates it all. And so
Amen.
I'm very grateful. Oh, and then they say Nyahweh, and then the people say Nyo. So Nyahweh.
No.
Thank you. And Ashe.
Ashe.
Ashe. So, and we, yeah, that's perfecto. I'm going to say I'm very excited about this show. I'm very excited about our guests here today. This show is on the Western New York Peace Center's 57th annual dinner. And we have 3 of the awardees here. So it's the Sheros, the Heroes and Sheras are our subject. And so 3 of them are right here. So I'm going to say Jerome R. Wright. Yeah, Jerome, who is the co-director at HALT Solitary Community Alternatives to Isolated Confinement. And also associated with all kinds of efforts, the No New Jail campaign, Free the People, Black Love Resisting the Rust, so many things we're so grateful for. Thank you, Jerome, for coming.
Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, and well, anyway, we'll get into the awards in a minute. Then we also have Alberto Cappas, who is the
Publisher of the Buffalo Latino Village.
Yes,
And,
yes.
And also the publisher of the East Harlem Journal.
Right,
Yeah.
and
I'm involved with the Bring Amigo, which
so
is a
many
cultural
things.
center.
Yes.
And I also have an online Latino art gallery.
Right. No, we're so grateful. And I'm going to say that the Buffalo Latino Village, which I'm privileged to be a columnist at the.
Good.
And so you do that, but also your books of poetry, your just so many things, and such a wonderful community activist and truth teller.
Thank you.
So welcome, Alberto.
Thank you.
And last
Glad to be here.
Oh, we're so glad that you're here. And last but not least, Gabriella Lynn Jamieson.
Yeah.
Gabby, I've known Gabby since, how old were you when you went to Camp Peace Prince? What do
I
you
think like 10.
10?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was young.
I was very young.
It's 8 and up, so we know you were at
Yeah.
least 8
Yeah.
at the youngest. Who was part of Camp Peace Prince, but who is meanwhile has her own children now as a 20-year-old, is also has a bachelor's in psychology from Medaille, and is working hard with her grandfather, Alan Jamieson, the renowned Alan Jamieson.
Yep.
Cayuga, right?
Yes, Cayuga.
Cayuga.
Yeah, we work with different artists, different Native American artists. We do different galleries, different workshops, go to different sales and events. We'll actually be set up at the dinner.
Right. Oh, we're excited to have you set up at the dinner.
Yeah, we'll be set up there. Yeah.
Yeah. So what I'd say, well, let's say before we even get started more about the awards or the dinner or any of that, just the values that you think of when you think of the Peace Center annual dinner. So we'll just go around with that. Just a couple of thoughts of different values that you think come into play. So, Jerome?
Would start that off with the hardest question there.
Yeah.
Right.
No, but I'm thinking, when you talk about values, you're talking about what you stand for, and to me, the chief value is real community. There is no exclusion in anybody who's affiliated with the Peace Center. We don't look at denominations. We don't look at race, creed, color, affiliation. It is what community should look like. So the first thing that comes to mind is this sense of real community. Not, we have our little pockets of community where it's all of us the same, and then you have like the Peace Center where it's all of us and different.
Thank you. That is so beautiful. I like to blazon that over anything. Thank you, Jerome.
All of us are different.
It really, I mean, people.
But that's the value I think of, and I know if we valued community in large as you do, as the Western New York Peace Center did, we'd be in better shape.
Well, we're working on it, each one of us in our own ways, and you all are. That's what you're doing here.
For me,
Alberto?
the Peace Center, I noticed one thing that as I go and travel throughout the city, I observe that the Peace Center, it's all over the place, and really, it really has a presence in the community. And it's very sincere, very committed, and that's what I see, the commitment That's the value I see with your center.
Oh,
Very
thank you.
consistent.
Oh,
And
thank
it's
you.
really out there. It's really connected with the roots of the people.
Thank you so much about commitment and connection. That's so big, and it's so,
That's what I see.
yeah, so beautiful. So thank you so much. And Gabriella?
Understanding. Being a part of it and seeing it, growing up, there's an understanding of, like you said, how we're the same but also different. We have our differences, but we can come together and have an understanding that, like, we have similarities, but we are different. So definitely like an understanding,
Right.
and respect of that understanding, because I think that's what we lack in a lot of places. But here you find it. You find that understanding and respect for it.
Thank you so much. Well, first of all, I'm very honored, overwhelmed, flattered, and so gratified. I realize that, first of all, I have a very bad habit, is I almost never introduce myself on the show. And it really is ridiculous. So it's like, well, everybody, it's overly humble in a way that's very self-centered to think like, oh, everybody knows me, or I don't need to introduce myself. So I want to introduce myself with my reclaimed teenage nickname of Victory Ross. Or Vicky, Victoria is my given name. But, I've been associated with the Peace Center since 2008. But anyway, and the reason I reclaimed my teenage nickname of Victory is because I was using it in camp and working with kids when we have the super names, and I'd say Victoria's Vicky, and I'd say I didn't like my name Victoria because it sounded so self-centered, because it means the victorious one.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, until I realized that the real victory, everybody wins. Well, that is one thing that I think of, and I think of that in terms of the Peace Center, in terms of the work that you all are doing, that we all are doing, and in terms of the dinner, and in terms of what we need to do, so it's a nice way of thinking about, I ask the kids, with the real victory, who wins? And if they're really thinking, then they say, yes, everybody, they come up with that. So anyway, so that's a value I think of with all of this. And anyway, and truth and love, that's the one I usually use, because,
Truth and love.
Yeah.
I agree. I just, while I was sitting there, I said, well, we all win. I didn't want to, something always comes to your mind afterwards. And not that it trumps community, but I think courage. You know why I want to say courage? Because courage is the quintessential component you got to have to do anything.
Yep.
Anything.
Right.
And the courage I've seen the Peace Center in standing up for things like that, it's not a popular thing. It's not what's trending. Like the war in Palestine right now, I have watched the Peace Center be on the front lines because they realize, and they want people to realize that being pro-Palestine, having what they want, is not anti-Semitic,
Right.
and that's the message that they want to say. They want to make it. They want to make that. But you have stood out there. You and the Peace Center has stood out there at every time, asking for peace, for that, asking for the end, asking for anything. And it's not a popular thing, and people worry about whose feathers they're going to ruffle. But when you're courageous, you do it because it's the right thing to do, and whoever's feathers get rustled. And that's what I say. And it's not. That's a big thing right now, the whole Palestine and Gaza and all that. But every time there's something controversial that people pick sides because it's rather popular or not, that's not the Peace Center. If it's an issue, we're going to talk about it.
Yeah.
Right. Well, thank you for that. And that's the thing about truth and love, is that it requires truth, and sometimes the truth is not simple. So, anyway, there's a lot of different aspects, but just, courage has come up recently, and especially, as you point out, in that area and in so many areas where you're swimming up against the tide. Yeah. So anyway, I'm so excited to have the three of you here, and I think I want to go right into a little bit about the dinner, first of all. And we really, it's so nice the way you all praise the Peace Center so much. But so the dinner is on November 15th, and if you go to WNYPeace.org, you can get tickets. It is a fundraiser, fair warning. It is the Peace Center's major fundraiser, and the Peace Center really, I'm going to say that we really do need the money, because I think people also take the Peace Center for granted a little bit.
Right.
But anyway, and we're having Tom Porter, who's a Mohawk Elder, Bear Clan, just such a peacekeeper, faith keeper. He's very intimately connected with the work on the Great Law of Peace, and so many wonderful ways that he helps all of our communities. He is the keynote speaker, but meanwhile, we have all these wonderful people getting awards. So I'm going to say the other person who's not here, besides Tom, another person is Craig Mokhiber, who is getting the Stellar Media Award. And Craig is a human rights lawyer who worked more than 30 years for the UN, who quit over the failings of the UN to really do right by the Palestinians. So, and he's just written these just such clear, compelling articles that basically say that boycott, divestment, and sanction is actually required under international law,
right,
with what the criminal court has decided. So anyway, he's a wonderful person who will also be there, and we'll have him on another show. But in the meanwhile, we are, so November 15th at the McCoy Convention Center, 653 Clinton Street. Doors open at 5, and we'll have, there's tabling opportunities and just all kinds of things that people can do, or ways to be part of it. But the other thing is, I didn't mention, and I want to talk about each of you and have each of you talk about your work, about the awards that you're getting. So, I want to say for Jerome is getting the Ultimate Activist Award. And so that's named after Wayne Alt, who is Mr. Peace Center. Wayne was there from day one, which was in 1967, when the Peace Center was started as one of the first chapters of Reverend Dr. King's Clergy and Laity Concerned. And I didn't know that one of the first chapters. I didn't know that for quite a long while. So anyway, he was there with Ken Sherman, and he and people at Riverside Salem were the ones who got the Peace Center up and running, really about the Vietnam War, and then about how it's all connected. A lot of draft counseling and all kinds of work and then really to peace and justice at home and abroad. But anyway, so that's Wayne Alt. So the Ultimate Activist Award, I want to say, Jerome, you are such an activist. You are involved in so many things so courageously, and after being through the school of hard knocks. So your commitment, talk about commitment and community, all the things that very much embody your activism. So I'd like you to tell a little bit about your work.
About my work, I first want to say after that I guess those words, those attributes I chose is why I affiliate myself so closely with the center, because that's what I care about. That's what you care about and stand for. I think I want to preface this for all of us, and we just meeting personally,
right,
but I think first I want to say I'm honored, as I know all of us are, to be even been chosen for an award. And I'd like to say that when an award is given, people look at the person, the awardee, but it says as much about the organization that offers the award. It talks about what they value, who they value, what they stand for, because you don't pick people, you don't award people that are diametrically opposed to what you're about,
No.
right. So as much as I and my two colleagues here will get accolades for being nominated for the award, I would like to say it is a pleasure to know that the Peace Center, in spite of all the stuff that you do, would award us, that you would look at what we do and put it on a pedestal, because we don't do it for that.
No, right.
But you choose that because that's something you value, that's something that you want to acknowledge and recognize. And so it says as much about us as it says about the Peace Center. And I'm thankful. I know they're thankful. So I just wanted to preface what we said about that, because getting an award, it's as good as who's giving it to you.
Well, you certainly, you deserve it. You deserve it so much. And I want to say one thing I didn't mention when we were talking about, when I'm, talking about the huge amount of work that you're doing and in so many different ways and so many different campaigns, that I didn't even mention that you are the chair, the current chair of the Erie County Corrections Specialist Advisory Board, which has been, could I say controversial or not controversial? Should be controversial.
Yes.
Or what you could talk about that a little bit too. And the No New Jails campaign, which is very big and which is really very immediate.
So why don't I start from that you just spoke about? No, let's talk about it and work my way back, because it's really important, because right now we at a pivotal point. We just had a People's Town Hall, the No New Jails campaign, that was attended by over 100 some odd people and who participated in the budget, and they learned about it. They used money, and so I want to say those things that I've been involved in, and some people would like to say they're opposing being the chair of the advisory board and being a No New Jails member. It's two things could be true at the same time, and it's true that I need to be involved with the jails, because that's our community too. Those are the people, and I owe an unpayable debt. You mentioned my really long history back when I was a kid of getting in trouble and breaking the law and going to prison for it, and the crimes I was involved in. That's something that you can't undo, repay. So I like to look at it like mortgage. You pay your principal and you pay the amortization table. You pay the principal and you pay the
interest.
The interest. So that's why you never get out of it, because you pay it from both ends. And I feel like I have to pay. I will never make that goal of paying for it, but I'm going to pay down on the interest, and I'm going to pay down on the principal. And that's why I do so much stuff, and that's why I'm involved in those things, because I know that my experience in those things set me apart to be able to speak on them. Not that I do that, and I don't. People want to make it me against the system or me against the jail. I'm against whatever's wrong.
Right.
If it's wrong, I don't care if it's in my own home. I'm gonna be against it. I'm gonna say something about it. And they act like I want to make trouble because I was in prison. I'm not the angry, formerly incarcerated person. No, that is not who I am. I am the person who understands that my experience can inform people to make sure that we don't create angry, formerly incarcerated people who come out.
Right, and who end up right back in
or harming their community or harming themselves.
Absolutely.
So those are the things. The No New Jails and the chair that Erie County, which I just got that, and it was over. It was controversial, but when you're doing work like that, if it's not controversial, you're not doing anything.
Well,
Amen.
one thing I want to mention that you also did is the HALT Solitary Campaign put together. A cell so that you could experience
a replica cell.
It's experiencing one little, the tiniest little bit of it, an idea. The tiniest little bit. Because, of course, you're coming you've gone in voluntarily, you're coming right back out again, so you don't really experience it.
I would tend to differ with you.
Really?
I can tell you that not a single person who went in, and some people stood at the door and refused to go in, knowing that they could come back out. But everybody who went in came out moved by that experience.
I
don't care if it was a second or 5 minutes.
I'm just saying that's how terrible the experience is. So, I can only compare it. I don't want to do... I'm doing so much talking here, but my sister was in a wheelchair, and so one day she said, she was in the hospital. She said, "Why don't you stay in the wheelchair all weekend?" And I'm like, "Well, I'll do it, but it's not going to tell me what it's like for you."
Right.
To just do it. And I did it for 6 hours, and then she saw that she agreed with me that it wasn't doing what she wanted it to do.
Right.
But I haven't, just because of, being her sister, what I saw growing up, I have some idea, and it's only back to we get some idea means it's not the experience, it's some idea. So that's all I'm trying to say.
No, I got
it was
you.
extremely hard, compelling, and it just shows. And the noise, that was the other thing. The noises and it was...
yeah, people think solitary means like you in some monastery where there's everybody's going, No, it is a discordant, cacophonous sound all day and half the night. Banging, screaming, hollering, kicking doors, and that's what drives a lot of people crazy, the incessant noise, and things like that. But I don't want to get... The reason why that is important to me, I spent time in solitary.
Right.
I'm indelibly imprinted with that. It will never leave me. The trauma and the torture of that is with me forever.
Right.
And because I can articulate my pain, I want people to know that. You should not have to experience everything.
Right.
That's why we have empathy.
No, right. Just sometimes getting some idea so we begin to at least understand just a bit.
Yeah.
You know, so it's back to, and we keep growing in understanding and empathy and compassion. We have to. So anyway, so your award is so richly deserved. That you're such a beautiful activist, and you're so involved in so many things. We're so grateful.
Thank you.
Jerome, you definitely deserve it in every way. And for Alberto, now, first of all, I want to tell you that your wife said, how did you get him to agree? Because other people have tried to honor you, and you deserve so much honor. And this one is especially one that people don't want a Lifetime Achievement Award, because then it sounds like, oh, you think I'm finished or something. No, we know darn well you are so far from finished, but you've done so much for the Buffalo community, for the community in New York City, for the Puerto Rican community, for truth-telling, in so many ways, through media especially, through poetry, through community building. You have just done a huge amount, and then you keep coming out with more. You've always got a new idea and a new group that you're starting up, or new way of recognizing and bringing people together, helping to share the understanding. So the Lifetime Achievement Award, I want to give Deidre full credit, because she was on the phone when you called me back. And she was the one who was not taking no for an answer.
Oh, okay.
You know, that was Deidre. So Deidre got it done.
Yeah. No, I was saying, because you was talking about the whole thing about lost prison and whatnot. When I was at the University of Buffalo back in 68, 69, I was the founder of the Puerto Rican Student Organization there. And we worked very closely with the Black Student Union. And one of the things that we did, we used to send students to work with prisoners at Attica. And we had a tutorial program.
Wow.
And because of my association with the prisoners, when the Attica uprising started, I was one of the observance committee.
Really?
Yeah,
I did not. See, back to...
That is unbelievable.
He's done so much.
That.
Yeah, I did not even know that.
Yeah, it was Arthur Eve.
Yes.
I have a
Right.
relationship with Arthur Eve. Actually, we did a lot of work in the community. So when that happened, Arthur Eve reached out to me and got me involved with that.
Wow.
You know, so that was a horrible experience.
That is ironic. That is ironic, because I am currently on the committee, the closed Wright Attica committee.
Yeah.
And we've been talking about finding people who were back around that time, because over time, people's memory dissipates.
Well, what's happening is not just isolated to that. I think community advocacy in the community, real advocacy, kind of disappeared.
Yeah.
You know, what you have is just everything is commercialized.
Right.
You know, there's nothing real happening.
Profits over people. That's what
it
it is.
You know.
Yeah.
And a lot of organizations are getting money for this, getting money for they get city money, they get grants here, grants there.
Well, we
but
don't get any of
they're
that.
not really providing a service. Know what they said? They're not really providing a service.
No, right.
And the reason I don't accept awards from a lot of organizations is because of that. You know, I don't want to be prostituted.
Right,
Because
right.
a lot
Amen.
of people get awards because of their political connection.
Right.
You know, and
Right.
they really don't deserve it. You know, I mean, in terms of the spirit
Right.
of what the award is
It's
all
about
about.
Right.
right.
So I've been kind of disillusioned with politics. I've been involved with my life in politics since I was a young kid. You know,
Right.
So I really learned, you know, what the whole reality of politics and the characters and individuals, the
So-
games that are being played, you know.
Please talk about your book.
Well, the book came about, I lived in Buffalo from 67 to 85. And during that time, I did a lot of work here in this community. A lot of the organizations that exist today, I was
Yeah, so-
involved in setting them into motion. So I left in 85. Make a long story short, I come back in 2013 because I had a seizure. So my daughters went to New York City and said, okay, Pop, it's time to come back to Buffalo.
Right.
So I came back, and after a year or two, when I completely recuperated, I said, I have to get involved again.
Right.
You know, I can't just fade away.
No, right.
So seeing the community, I saw a lot of, again, hypocrisy, contradiction. I saw a lot of an illusion. Things that are not. And
Right.
you have all these people,
Right.
they're community leaders, they get recognized for this. So the book is based on that encounter. That's why I call it Back to the Twilight Zone.
Right.
A Puerto Rican colony in Buffalo, New York. You know, and basically it's a collection of poems, and they're all dedicated to the whole reality in Buffalo. And it's not just isolated to the Puerto Rican community.
No,
You
right.
know, you see that in the black
Oh, right.
community. You see
The
that in
most
white-
segregated place
You
in this
see
country,
that?
Dad.
Right.
You see that all over.
But all suffering from that lack of attention to the people's needs, and it's more about real estate developers and looking good. So that, you know, it's well, capitalism driving. You know, it's all about this,
Yeah.
and also it's about entrenched power. That's the other thing. That's why I feel like it's the Twilight Zone, because it looks like
Well, we all
one
have to
thing's happening.
take, you know, as individuals, you know, we're really spiritual beings having a human
Right.
experience on the planet.
Yeah.
And the universe, when it put us here or gave us the opportunity to have the human experience, we have a purpose,
Right.
you know, and we have to set that purpose, put that purpose into action. And a lot of people prostitute that purpose,
Right.
you know.
Well, you don't, and I want to say your leadership, your kindness, your clarity, and you're always, you know, finding ways to help people, to give them what they need, or to, you know, give people new ideas of how to do things better, you know, and how to promote. You know, so you've been promoting so many important things, El Bate being one of them, but so many that, and one way of finding out about more of them is through the Buffalo Latino Village, but not limited to that. I mean,
No.
You do so much. So, and it's about the needs
Well,
of the
Buffalo
people.
Latino Village is an extension, you know, of
Right.
we as human beings set things into motion, you know. Okay.
Yeah, it's so important. And we know you've done about 2-3 lifetimes worth of work already, and you're still going strong. So your energy, your ideas, you're always ready with something new. I don't know, I can't keep up with you, but anyway, so we don't, luckily we don't need to. We just need to try and do our little parts.
Okay.
But you certainly deserve it, and I'm so
Thank-
grateful that you're going to accept it.
Thank you. And again, I accepted it because I honor, I have a lot of respect for the quality and the integrity of the organization.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. And I'm not saying that just because you offer me the
No,
award.
I know
I
that.
really,
No.
and I'm pretty sure a lot of people know that.
Well, thanks. Well, that's why I said when Ramona said, "How did you get him to accept it?" So anyway, so we're so grateful. And last but not least, so Gabby, So you're getting the Emerging Leaders Award, as you know. So the Emerging Leaders Award is something that we started doing a number of years ago, just because, we need to recognize our young people as they're coming up, encourage them, and not only recognize their leadership, but, get behind it,
Right.
take, learn from you, and work together, because we've got our work cut out for us in
Yeah.
this twilight zone that we're
Definitely.
in. So if you want to talk a little bit about how you've gotten to the point you're at now.
Yeah. Well, I started real young. I mean, I went with my grandpa to different events, and
Yeah.
that kind of got me into it. And then I started going to different youth groups, and I found this one youth group that I ended up working for, which they go by Yale. They're Youth Empowerment Leadership. So their whole thing is just empowering the youth to be leaders, and it's a mix of different people, right? We have from different cultures, different, everything, and it's great. But their whole thing is taking you out in the community and helping you learn and helping you just become better and help your community. And so I did that for a number of years, probably for 10 years of my life. My short life.
Wow.
I did that.
You're 20, right?
Yeah, 20.
Yeah.
So I did that for most of my life, honestly. And I loved it. I loved being able to get out in the community and understand what other people were going through, because even, as a Native American and Hispanic, I grew up seeing both of those sides, right? And my sister is mixed. She's black and she's white, and I saw the struggle she had, even in her own community, because she was mixed,
Right.
and seeing that, and just my struggles with my family, seeing what they're going through,
Sure.
as and living on the res, family on the res, and seeing that, I just knew I wanted to get in and help them, because I was like, if I can overcome that, because I've also struggled with some things that
Of
they've
course.
struggled with. I was like, if I can overcome them at such a young age, they can also overcome it. And I really try and work with them and help them, even if they're just family or friends.
Right.
And I try and share my story and get out there and do what I can. But I don't know, I think it's important, and I love it. I love working with different people, and
Right.
older people and younger people, because some younger people have such great ideas, and you're
Yes.
I would have never thought of that.
Right.
And they see the world so differently than we do, because they're so young. They still see, my 9-year-old, right? She's 9. And just the way she talks is oh my God, yeah. And my brother also, my brothers, right? Because they're still young, and the way they talk is so innocent and so
Right.
they don't see what we see, they don't see those differences like we do. And sometimes they do, and then they're like, but why does it matter? And so just I love listening to younger people and getting their ideas and bringing them in and being like, your voice can be heard. Let's get you out here. Let's get you up and
Right.
lifted. Because my voice was uplifted at a young age by so many people, and I appreciate that, that my ideas were put into motion.
Right.
But right now I'm trying to get more into addiction, struggling with addiction, because I've had that in the past with family and myself.
Right. Right.
So, and I did it alone. I didn't tell anyone. So this is kind of the first time I'm telling people.
Wow.
So family that's watching
Talk about courage.
will
Right.
see this and be
Right.
like, oh, but there were some things that I struggled with that I didn't even tell
Sure.
anyone. And I kind of just went cold turkey.
Yeah.
Not the best way to do it, but it's a way.
It's
and
a
I
way.
got more into my spiritual side. Like you were talking, we're spiritual
Right.
people. We're meant to be with the earth and connected. Which is why I'm so excited to be a part of this, because it's that's my whole thing. I love that, being in touch with nature, doing, I try and smudge every day, with the sage and
Right.
sweetgrass and tobacco. I have my medicine bag. I try to go outside and do that every day and just be connected. But it's hard. It's hard to remember that we're all the same.
Right.
But, there, like I said before, we have to have an understanding of our differences to have a respect and to have that coming together.
Right.
And
Right.
I like that with my family. we're very like like a melting pot, and so is America.
Right.
That's
Sure.
You know, America's a
Yeah.
melting pot, and I don't think people realize, like, people forget that. Like, guys, this is we're a melting pot. We're so, you know, like, we should come together.
And not only that, honestly, we are one in the spirit. When we start to really feel that, and also we have our challenges. So it's so beautiful, your story, and you've done so much and worked so hard and have so much clarity. I want to mention too that, you know, when Tom speaks, Tom Porter, his topic for the keynote is restoring our sacred Mother Earth. So, and part of that is restoring ourselves, like you're
Yep.
saying.
Yes.
So, I mean, and, you know, being one with each other, with the planet.
Yep.
And right now, I mean, we see that, you know, climate catastrophe is not like, oh, that thing that's going to happen in the future. No,
it's happening
We're
now.
happening.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
happening.
definitely.
It is very clear. You know, we see that.
Yep.
And so that we need to be, you know, putting taking our resources and our energy into, you know, dealing with things together. You know, communication and cooperation is one of the things.
Yes.
When we were doing peaceful conflict resolution, I always felt like that was sort of like a you know, you could say truth and love, which is very abstract, or even, but so communication and cooperation is like very tangible things that we need to do to
Yep.
make some progress.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's sorry.
No,
I
go
thought you were,
ahead.
No, go ahead.
I think that's a problem we have, like, when I look at our government and look at all these companies, is like there's no communication, and there's a lot of, like, just putting things to the side, like, oh, they don't need to know about that. We can do
Right.
that. It's fine. We'll get away with it, right? There's nothing. Like, I was just watching a video with my partner about recycling and, like, microplastics and all this, and he was
Yeah.
watching it, and it's just like, it was crazy to hear the information. I was like, man, I feel like I've been lied to. Like, I feel like I'm being
have been lied to,
And
no.
you
Right.
are. You have
Right.
been.
been lied
Right,
to.
right.
'Cause,
Oh,
like,
yes.
And as somebody that grew, like, I have family in Canada and I have family here, and just like
Right.
Difference.
the difference of
Yes.
what they do, I'm like, why aren't we doing that?
You know why? You said it. This is a melting pot, and they don't want to. They don't want to. They don't want to accept that. What I found out, other countries are more homogenous because they look at themselves as what Canadians. Whatever color, whatever, you're Canadian. Over here, American used to mean melting pot.
Yeah, but-
now it means good Americans, bad Americans.
Yes.
You know, immigrants and this and
Yeah.
that. But that is the game. That's what I'm talking about. The divide and conquer. That's why we
Right.
can't do the unity thing.
No.
Listen, you can't have unity without you and I. That means each one of us.
Yeah.
And you
Right.
can't have community without unity.
Right.
Yeah.
So they know that, and they have done what they've done so that we doing this.
Except
Yeah.
we're going to do what we're doing.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
Well,
we're doing
I
it.
had someone say something to me, and I thought it was like, I was just in my head, I was like, that's not, no, is that Hispanic people are bringing black people down. And I'm
That's
like,
what?
as somebody that grew up in a neighborhood with a mix, I'm like, that is not true at all. That's what they want you to believe, is
Right.
that we're bringing each other down. No. If you go in, we're trying to bring each other up. We're trying
Right.
to help each other and get each other up. Like, look at what you two are doing. Like, we're trying to bring each other up. We're not even just Hispanics and black people, but the Asian community, the white community that are struggling too. Like, we're trying to
Right.
bring all of them up. It's not one race is bringing down the other, or this race. Because if we want to say that, we can say white people are bringing down all the other races.
Right.
You know, like, if we're going to
Yeah.
go there.
What I think we should do, and I definitely want to have you, with a literary mind like yours and the history you know about this community, you know how segregated it has always been.
Yes.
How racially
Tell that.
divided, how the power structure is, it actually is emblematic of this country structure, where the top 1% got all the money and everything else. What gives me hope is that what you said earlier, young people now,
Yes.
they're not our grandfathers and grandmothers. They're
Yep.
not the racist bigots or race baiters. They see each other through music, sports, and everything else as equals.
Yep.
They don't mind dating. There's no
Right,
cross
right,
lines.
right.
I like
Yep.
you, you like me.
We're-
They're more accepting of each other. They're more tolerant of each other's differences.
Yeah.
And that's why we got this big problem, because they see see that that's where it's about to come. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be.
Oh, it's interesting you say that. My experience has been different since I've been in Buffalo. When I go to meetings, I don't see young people.
You don't see any people?
I don't see young people.
Oh, young people.
I see older people.
Right.
To me, it's like young people, especially in the college community, they're hiding in the university and the college. They go dancing, they party, but you can't get them to really get involved. They don't get involved with the community.
Yeah,
I mean, that's been my experience. Every meeting I go to, 90% of the meetings I go to, it's people like us.
Yeah.
I don't see young people.
Well,
And this is a college town, so we got work to do.
well,
We need to reach out to
definitely.
the-
Now, that's for sure that we do have work to do. And I want to say, I think, actually getting back to the annual dinner, I want to say that is one place where it is a very diverse
Yes.
It is a very diverse group. I think, especially, we want more students there, and we're certainly working on that. But we really need, we need all of us, because our challenges are huge. So we know that there's a rise in fascism that I think
we need young
has-
people, because we need to
Yeah.
pass the torch.
Right.
And if the young people in
Right.
that day, who are going to pass the torch?
Now you're going to drop the baton. Yeah, right.
It's hard, I think, in Buffalo. I know a lot of young people that they want to get out there, they want to do it.
Right.
But they're so, like, my one friend is very vocal, but her parents are old fashioned and very and she's kind of like, well, they won't let me go do this, they won't let me go do that, and I don't know what to do, how do I get out here and find it, But I definitely think Buffalo, like you said, it is a lot of older people that are going to these meetings, going to these things, even though we are a college town, you think there'd be more young people, but I know there are young people out there, because we see it on social media. We see them talking on social media and getting it out there. And I think that's the other thing. That's the big change here, right? Is social media is the big aspect now.
And that's the fault, and that's why we have this chasm, because most of the older people didn't grow up with that technology, so
Yep.
their usage of it is minimal at best, and your usage of it is every day, all day.
Yep.
So there's this big chasm, because we're not talking to each other, because they're talking TikTok and X,
And so-
and we're talking
and
typewriters,
some
I
of
guess.
and some of that is natural, because I know one of the things that I've found is sometimes is that young people want to do things on their own, and I have to
That's
say
fine.
I have to say that the amount of courage that young people have been showing over Israel and Palestine with the student encampments and all of that has been huge.
That's what I'm talking about.
So
Yes.
it's there. So I think part of it is for us to keep the faith and to try to do the things that are building those connections between the age groups and the cultures and the different
Yes.
groups and the different they call silos, in this. So we keep trying to do that, and also not to allow people to separate us in the ways that
Yes,
you say.
don't have
so-
people separate us.
So why are we calling it racist?
Yep.
There's one race.
There's one
The
race,
human
the
The
human
human
race.
race, and
Yeah,
that's
human
it.
race.
So
Yeah.
as long as we can get
Exactly.
them to conjugate us into colors and all that other stuff, then we still going to be separate. There is one race.
Yep.
One race, the human race. Everything else is just diversity.
Right.
That's it.
And we're all
Yeah.
unique anyway. So we're all a unique combination
we're all
of
unique.
DNA and all the other things
Yep.
that give us that.
Right.
Those different attributes. In fact, there's an exercise that we do in Peace Jam sometimes that is, you think about all the different things about who we are, our identity, and have people list them,
Yep.
what are all those different things, and then put them in the order of how important they are to you. And so there's different ways that can help us, and one of them, actually, the chair, I'm sure he wouldn't mind me quoting him, that the chair of the board of the board of governors of the Network of Religious Communities, Lou Bergner, was just saying that very thing, and he was just saying that when we start to think of ourselves as the primary identifier is that we're part of the human race, then we're going to make some progress.
Yes.
Yep.
And of course, I did have to think of it, so that's one way, but there are different ways, because also, I mean, the human race is just important to us, but also it's just one element of the creation.
That's right.
Yeah.
And also the diversity is a wonder, and is a resource, right? The fact that we all have different skills and experiences and talents and, you know, and goals, you know, aspirations, that when we share them and share those abilities and
that's why this country, if you talk about what would make America great, it was that melting pot.
Yeah.
It was having people with every different background and knowledge and experience working to solve problems together, giving their unique talents and abilities to whatever it was, and then they start breaking it up. But I don't want to, because I know we're getting low on time. I wanted to say something about fundraising.
Oh, thank you.
No, because I really, we give so much of our money to garbage. We throw money away. I looked at the money I throw away. I did a little thing, and I throw away hundreds of dollars. Now I'm talking about 50, hundreds of dollars on nothing.
Yeah.
And when an event like this comes up, people say, "Oh, the ticket that much," and they complain. But you got no problem plopping down money for a Starbucks
concert,
coffee that's $10. You
got
$500 to go see Beyonce. Now I ain't Beyonce, and I understand the difference.
Right.
I understand the difference.
I get it.
But put your money where your mouth is. If you're about something and you're about supporting the community, you're about supporting good things, you're about supporting the right things.
This
the
is a
Western
great
New York,
opportunity.
this is what you do that. When you say, I can't get involved, I don't know what to do. Give some money, donate. We got the people who know what to do. We need some resources to help them do it.
Yep.
Come to this and see, you see the diversity up here. You never know who you might meet. You never know who you might meet. You never know what connections you might make. But the other thing is, support something in your life that's bigger than you, that's about making your life better, because that's what they try to do. We do this here. We try to make people's lives better.
That's what we're trying to do,
I have to thank you so much for that, Jerome. So I need to say, when we're talking about the heroes and Sheras, so the three of you, I just mentioned, you know, Tom Porter and Craig Mokhiber, but I have to hold up Deidre. Now, Deidre Email, who is the executive director, and I'm going to say, as the executive director, she is as busy as she could be. Plus, you know, the money is not there. So I have to say, the Peace Center, and I fault myself as a former executive director, you know, not that I was getting anything more than, you know, I was supposedly 20 hours a week when I was doing 60 hours a week, and plus, however, I mean, Deidre has been the director for more than 3 years now, and I want to say for a good year of that, she didn't take a salary at all.
Wow.
For a year of that.
We should give her award.
I know we would. We will.
You just told me. We will.
No. We can't right now.
Right.
Actually, here's the thing. We've actually talked about that, and then one of the things is, you can't give to your own members. You know what I mean, or to your own director. It looks too fun. We can't. But all I can say is to be continued. Let me just put it that way.
We'll do something for her. We'll come together.
I mean, right now, I want to say she is such a shero, however you want to say it. She is such a magnificent person. She has what Cornel West said, her grace and dignity. And what I say is still, this is one of his phrases, because she has the moral integrity and the universal solidarity, which she really does. She really does. And the Peace Center is doing, you know, talking circles every month.
Oh, that's great.
People are welcome to come to that. It's the first Thursday of the month, every month. So they've just had one. And of course, there's the Latin American Solidarity Committee. So there's different campaigns that we're working on. Certainly, we're honored to be part of the No New Jails campaign and to work with Latino Village. And to work with our indigenous brothers and sisters.
Yes, love to do something with you guys.
Well, and
I'm
that's
going to talk to Deidre about it.
And that's one of the other things I wanted to mention too, is that people can table at the dinner. So there'll be a lot of people who are the people who come are the people who are interested in well, peace through justice at home and abroad is our
motto.
Our motto and mission.
Mission.
Our mission,
Yeah.
which is like, we're going to fix everything. No, we're not going to fix everything. Well, but
We can try.
But we can try, and we can try and bring, just keep, working together. Actually, we wanted to put that in, working together
I like that.
for peace through justice at home and abroad.
When you say Gabriella, I didn't read the whole thing. I do know another Gabriella, and she works with like the immigrant justice and all that stuff. So I originally thought that was her, and then I saw you, and I just wanted to tell you I am in awe of our indigenous people who make sure that you're not forgotten, who are willing to speak out, and kudos to you guys, because you started 10 that going to the camps. So I know you learned some stuff, but it's too often that all we get to do is say something nice at the beginning of a meeting honoring indigenous people.
Yeah.
We should be having this conversation with indigenous people.
Right,
we should just be honoring them. They're still here. It's not like, it's almost like, it's like, it's almost like.
Agnes Williams says, we're invisible.
Yeah.
And I think that's the problem with when it comes to like being Native, right? A lot of people think Seneca.
That's
right?
it, yeah.
Oh, the casinos, but they don't think of like, well, there's Cayuga still, there's Mohawk, there's so many still, and it's like, it's
all over the country.
All over the country, and people just think like, oh, well, and I have some people that think like Natives put themselves where they are, and I'm just like, that's not what happened at all.
That's the same thing they say about black people, so I feel bad about it.
And I hear that, and I'm like, do you guys not know what happened?
But no, that's justification. That allows them to have a good conscience.
And it's like, I'm never blaming anyone. Like, when I talk to people about things, I'm never blaming you. I'm not saying your ancestors did it. No, I'm just saying what happened to my people, and why I fight so hard to try and help and help them, right? It's like, if you feel that, that's on you, and you need to work that out. Because
how can we all work together to begin to have an impact and go into a different direction?
Exactly.
That will have a positive impact in our community.
So I just want to say that as Jerome was reminding us, we are really almost at the end of the show. So we've only got like, say, 3 minutes left. So I'd like each of you to just take a minute, a brief minute to just sort of, what's the bottom line of something that you want to share, before we go off the air?
Well, I am going to be chivalrous because I've been first all the time to defer.
No.
To Gabriella.
We're using a talking circle format.
I love that, though. Talking circle.
I don't know if you've seen that. It's so deep in me now.
Yes.
So
I can do that.
We're just going, and it's the Haudenosaunee way to go. Go counterclockwise.
I'm with you.
That's why.
I just wanted everybody to know chivalry's not dead. I ain't gonna be the guy that killed it.
You've been so chivalrous.
Well, so let me say this. I don't make these statements about there being but one race for no reason. I'm not involved with the Western New York Peace Center because they have an agenda that's biased to anything. What I would like to say to people is that soon as we wake up and realize that although we may not be in the same boat, that we're all in the same storm.
Yes.
And if we don't navigate together, then we're going to drown together.
That's so well put.
And I'm tired of the excuses like it's my fault, that fault, this fault. Blame is never just one or the other.
Right.
Blame is an equal opportunity thing. So let's stop with the blame and let's start addressing these things. Until you deal with somebody, until you make a connection with them, you should not be judging them. Find somebody that's not like you and learn.
Right. Amen. Amen. Ashe.
Well, I think that we have to stop complaining a lot and do more. And I think that we have to realize as we look at each other, we might look different, but we're all spirits. We're an extension of the universe. And what you see is really clothing, you know. And when it's our time to go, it's not time to go. It's time to start a new journey.
Yeah.
And if you leave behind, you leave the clothing behind. You know? And we need to love each other. You know, really love each other, not just say it, you know.
Yes.
And really value our purpose on this planet.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you, Alberto.
I just want to say, it was so great meeting you two. You guys are great. And I just want to say, like, same thing you guys have been saying, though, just like, we need to come together. Young people need to get out there more and do more. You know, I know you guys have the voice. So we all need to come together and bridge that and understand we're not all on the, some people are social media, some people aren't, but we need to come on some common ground here and just, you know, help. You know, I help my grandpa with the social media. You guys go and help your people with the social media. And they'll help you with all that, but just come together and like, we gotta do it. We gotta stop complaining. We gotta really just get up and do it, you know, take it the day by it, you know, by the tail. Well,
and we are, I'm going to say, you all are wonderful examples of people who are doing just that, which I that's why you're getting the awards, you know, and between you and Tom Porter, Craig, Deidre, you know, Gabriella, the board, there's so many people who will be at the dinner. There's so many people in all of these various movements and campaigns. You know, we're all together. I always think of what Dr. King said, and he said, unarmed truth and unconditional love will have the final word in reality. So I want to say, this is Talking Peace. We couldn't be more grateful to you all. And so on this show of Talking Peace, we've been talking peace in truth and love.
Gracias.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so very much.